Dawn Sharon Lindsay, you are an exemplary leader in higher education who has dedicated more than 29 years to advocating for the needs, values, and importance of community colleges on the state, local, and national level. You have led this effort on both coasts, having served in several dean positions at Riverside Community College in California, and then as president of Glendale Community College outside of Los Angeles, before making your way back to your native Maryland. In 2012, you became the 6th president to take the helm of Anne Arundel Community College, the state's largest single-campus community college with 50,000 students. At AACC, you model your philosophy of servant leadership by committing to transparent decision-making, shared governance, and an institutional dedication to student success. The outcomes of your tenure are impressive. 2013, the Maryland State Department of Education recognized the partnership between Anne Arundel and Maryland Live Casino, which was formed to meet the growing industry needs for trained and motivated workers in the casino industry. The partnership program earned the 2013 Career in Technology Education Outstanding Post-Secondary Business Partnership Award of Excellence as well. In recognition of your commitment to diversity and inclusion, Anne Arundel was the recipient of the Higher Education Excellence in Diversity Award in both 2015 and 16. And in the fall of 2017, Anne Arundel was honored for its high record of student success and named one of the top 150 community colleges in the nation by the Aspen Institute. We here on the Hill are not at all surprised by your stellar record of achievement. As an undergraduate, you were a member of the college's oldest sorority, Phi Alpha Mu, and you majored in psychology and social work. Sorry, I heard the mu out there, sorry. Immediately after earning your bachelor's degree in 1981, you picked up a master's degree here in counselor education in 1982. Your multifaceted career has included assignments as a counselor at the Carroll County Mental Health Center, youth services coordinator for the Howard County Police Department, and director of the Boys and Girls Club of Tustin, California. Along the way, you earned an EDD in organizational leadership from Pepperdine University in 2010. Since returning to your home state, you have shared your expertise on a number of boards, including the Executive Committee of the Board for the League of Innovation in Community Colleges, an international nonprofit whose mission is to cultivate innovation in a community college environment. And you've been on the board of directors for the American Association of Community Colleges. You were also appointed by Maryland Governor Larry Hogan to serve on the Governor's Workforce Development Board. We commend your service and leadership, Dawn, and it's with great pride and admiration that I would like to ask Marty to come forward to recognize you with the college's Trustee Alumni Award.
Acting on behalf of the Board of Trustees, it is my honor to present the Trustee Alumni Award in appreciation of Dr. Lindsay's distinction and service to her community and the college. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'd like to start by thanking McDaniel College for this wonderful and actually unexpected honor. When I arrived at McDaniel in 1977, I never anticipated the amazing path my life had in store for me. I was confident in my McDaniel education and passion would take me somewhere, I just didn't know where. I also didn't expect the myriad of life lessons I would have along the way. I selected McDaniel College as my college of choice in my junior year of high school. I selected this college because of its great curricular reputation, its beautiful campus, and proximity to my family. I initially declared psychology as my major, but was then strongly influenced by the social work department, primarily Mary Ellen Elwell, to seek a double major in social work. So by the time I started my sophomore year, I was taking classes necessary to satisfy both academic disciplines. I listened to Mary Ellen and I took her suggestions seriously. I loved attending the classes in the majors, as well as the professors who kept me actually engaged in learning. So much so that in spring of 1981, I called my parents to say, I want to stay at McDaniel for one more year to get my master's degree. In 1994, I moved to California for what I thought was going to be 2 to 3 years. Little did I know that 19 years later, and a complete change in career, was as I was considering things like nursing, law, or getting my doctorate. So I had that discussion to make. In 1995, I started at Saddleback College, where I was hired to run the Women's Reentry Center. Less than 2 years later, I was approached with a full-time tenure-track position. It was at that point I made another life decision. I wanted to become a college president. I knew I needed a doctorate, and I debated between several top colleges before ultimately starting my doctorate at Pepperdine in 1997. My goal was to attain my doctorate within 3 years, with the hope of becoming a college president by my 50th birthday. With tenacity and a lot of schedule juggling, I'm happy to share that 3 days before my 50th birthday, I received my first interim presidency that later turned into a permanent appointment. My career and my belief in myself was heavily influenced by the strong foundation I received at McDaniel College. Here, I learned to determine a goal, create a plan, and make it happen. I learned life was going to throw obstacles and conflicts in my path, but it was up to me to determine ways around these conflicts. Although I started out as a counselor, a set of very different variables and opportunities led me to education, specifically community colleges, and I have moved through the ranks of adjunct, staff, tenured faculty, dean, vice president, and now president to 2 community colleges, and I've never looked back. I've taught doctoral level courses and I've been a member of several doctoral dissertation committees, but found my true passion is working with the students that trust the community college system to attain their goal. It could be a certificate, an AA or an AS degree, transfer studies, or career development. At community colleges, we do it all, and I share that we enroll the top 100% of our applicants, which results in a very diverse and eclectic experience. This is not the community college of the 70s. I believe education is the key to empowerment and realize that the degrees that I attained from McDaniel truly were the set of keys that opened so many opportunities for me. Vincent Tinto is a well-known researcher in the area of student success and has written several publications and books on what college professionals need to be aware of as we work to create an environment that facilitates student completion and degree attainment. However, 10 years before Tinto wrote one of his most popular books, Leaving College, Rethinking the Causes and Cures of Student Attrition, I was a freshman at McDaniel College. Interestingly, much of what Tinto talked about and researched was already being implemented at McDaniel College. First published in 1987, Tinto talks about the role of faculty and staff. And based on my experience, McDaniel College already knew and evidenced a commitment to hiring highly qualified and well-respected discipline experts. This college also evidenced a unique understanding of the other attributes that the discipline experts should have and bring into the classroom. The first, and for me probably the most important, yet the most difficult to measure, is a passion for teaching. McDaniel's faculty and staff serve as strong role models for students. Faculty ensure a rigorous and quality curriculum, but also serve as mentors, confidants, and advisors. Research has proven it takes only one individual to influence a student's life. If only one faculty or staff member demonstrates a sincere interest in a student, it can literally change the course of a student's life and influence whether that student chooses to stay and get a degree or opt out of college, believing college might not be for them. Critical, and a component in which I believe McDaniel rightfully takes great pride, is hiring professors who get to know the students they are teaching. Professors who reach out to a student when they miss a class, ask the students about their lives, notice when a student is struggling, or simply provides a smile or words of encouragement. Although persistence, retention, and completion are the work of everyone at a college, clearly it is the faculty who have the most consistent contact with the students we educate. Based on my experience, McDaniel excels in hiring people who have an ability and a willingness to literally reach out and touch a student's life. In a world where there is greater diversity, we have an obligation to provide learning opportunities and a learning environment that supports all of our students. At my college, we have addressed equity and inclusivity directly. When most people think of diversity, they tend to limit their definition strictly to race and ethnicity. However, colleges also need to consider the uniqueness of different gender identities, disabilities that are both seen and unseen, military experience, socioeconomics, and a myriad of other backgrounds and experiences. As we work to open opportunities to all students, the number of issues around diversity requires an open and direct plan for inclusion. Can our minority students interact with people that look and believe like they do? Are there activities and programs and places on campus where all students can get involved? Do faculty and staff understand their role and responsibility to get students involved? And how do we work to ultimately get our students to attain their academic degree? I believe there are many benefits to a liberal arts education. One primary benefit is exposure to different types of curricula that introduce students to various perspectives and approaches to research and scholarly work. Breadth requirements, including classes in the humanities, English literature, modern language, history, and philosophy, are all part of the experience. There are expectations that students will learn to look at issues critically, gain the ability to engage in analytical debate, experience small class sizes, as well as a diverse curriculum. Characteristics such as honesty, teamwork, a strong work ethic, flexibility, and the development of interpersonal skills and the need to take an initiative are all part of a liberal arts experience. When I look at my life and the careers of many of my McDonald College friends, McDonald? Sorry about that. I'm not hungry. McDaniel. We are all experiencing tremendous success, and I believe it's rooted in the value system instilled in us through our classes and our college experience at McDaniel. I still have many of my friends from McDaniel, and although there's often distance and time between us, whenever we get to see each other again, it's like time has never stopped. I believe life is about relationships, both personal and professional, that exist both inside and outside of the classroom. 2 years ago, I worked very closely with our faculty and staff to revisit our strategic plan. We renamed it Engagement Matters, Pathways to Completion, and I use the term engagement as a verb. We need to interact. My love and passion has always been in helping others achieve their dreams, especially those who may not have thought it was possible. So what does a quality education provide a student? Often it is the key to financial stability, earning a living wage, and independence. The value of an education is well documented, but the parameters that help a student attain that degree are often not as well known. My parents believed in education. I was fortunate as they valued education and committed themselves to providing at least a bachelor's degree for both my sister and myself. In my family, it was an expectation. We never heard the question if we were going to go to college. We always heard, what college are you going to go to? My parents even spaced my sister and I 5 years apart, and this is a true story. My mom's such a planner. And it worked. The plan was to have 4 years for my sister in school, 1 year off, and then 4 years for me. I get my planning from my mom, but yet this was another one of her plans that really worked out well. My dad always wanted to be a teacher. He had such passion, he ended up having surgery so he could join the Army and access the GI Bill. My mom supported equity for women and held strong values as to the benefit of education for her daughters. I now know and understand what she said and what she meant to me when she said, "You need to get your education. That's the only thing that someone cannot take away from you." As a young person with a very supportive family, I didn't understand the value, meaning, and the doors that would necessarily open with an education. But now, as president of a community college, I truly know and understand and value education and the obstacles that can impede our students from moving forward. All of us have our favorite faculty member, and although we really shouldn't admit it, we usually have one or two favorite students. Mary Ellen Elwell was the faculty person who believed in me. She listened to me. She helped me understand it was my responsibility in being accountable for myself and the college, but more importantly, she became a confidant and a personal advisor. She was always understanding, compassionate, and empathetic. She was the McDaniel employee who changed my life and the trajectory of my path. When I started my master's program in June of 1981, I knew I needed to attain that degree within a year. That meant taking 5 classes over the summer and maintaining a full load for spring and for fall. Any slip from that path was going to cost me and allow me and end up with slowing down my goal of finding a full-time job in June of 1982. In addition to attending classes, I needed to find a job. So I found one at Leggett's department store, starting at minimum wage. I think it was $3.35 an hour, and I loved it. I was in the accessories and makeup department and clothing. It was the perfect job for me. However, Mary Ellen had very different plans for me. She believed I needed to have paid experience in some field within social work to assist me upon my graduation. She said she found the perfect job for me and wanted me to apply to Chapel Hill Convalescent Home in Randallstown, Maryland as a social work associate. Ironically, this is the facility owned by Jim Hyman and Dixie. Coach Hyman was always involved with his students as head of the football team and opened many doors and opportunities for his students through Jiffy Lube opportunities. My first comment to Mary Ellen, I don't like old people. I remember this conversation. But I later realized it wasn't that I didn't like old people, I just didn't know anything about them. I never had grandparents as a young child. So I applied, I interviewed, and I ultimately got the job. And suddenly I found myself researching ways to engage residents, working with doctors and healthcare professionals and families. I was learning new skills in an area I never even thought I would enjoy. I worked part-time, and I was hired full-time when I graduated with my master's degree, a job I maintained and loved for over 3 years. I'd like to thank President Casey for his warm welcome when I returned to Maryland in 2012, and the friendship that we've developed over the last 6 years. Dr. Casey represents passion and commitment, and as I have watched him interact with his students, it is clear he is in education for all the right reasons, helping others move forward. As an alumni, I've witnessed the leadership of Dr. Casey and his wife, Robin. This college continues to thrive because Roger embraces innovation, which requires the ability to lead people through ever-changing variables impacting our colleges. Under his leadership, McDaniel remains an educational destination. Known not only for academic excellence, the physical beauty of this campus is evident. Additional facilities have been built, renovation to existing structures has occurred in order to support the work and commitment to the students who trust McDaniel to attain their educational goals. But I do need to comment on academic excellence. This college has been ranked as one of the top 150 top liberal arts colleges in the Mid-Atlantic based on U.S. News 2018 rankings. Schools are ranked according to their performance across a widely accepted group of indicators of excellence. McDaniel College is also profiled in Lauren Pope's book, Colleges That Change Lives. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention the McDaniel College Board, who provide oversight to the college at the fiscal and policy level. I know this board works hard to ensure quality and provides resources that support access to education. Dr. Casey has been responsible for multiple partnerships with Maryland's community colleges. 2 examples of his vision include the Teacher Prep Program with Howard Community College and the Regional Higher Educational Center at Arundel Mills in Hanover, where McDaniel partners with my college to educate the residents of Anne Arundel County without my students never even needing to leave the county. Very beneficial when your average age is 27 and you don't have 18 to 22-year-olds that don't want the residential experience but want the degree from this college. I was just talking to Roger. It's another area I'd like to see continued growth in because I think we've got amazing opportunities. In closing, I want to thank you for allowing me to share my story about my journey and the role this amazing college has played in my life. McDaniel created a foundation and reaffirmed the values that I was taught by my parents. For that, I am truly humble and grateful. Thank you for this honor.